you got them?
In here. Good. It will cost you... Come.
In the 16th century, Spain was a land of great art and great intolerance. The family arrogance of the ruling classes forbade any outsider to step across their aristocratic boundaries. Under the watchful eye of the Spanish Inquisition, the people lived within the confines of a strict set of rules. The only defiance of the church came from experimenters, regarded by the church as dabblers in black magic, to be sought out, imprisoned, and tortured.
No love for the ages of the Holy Office, that one.
Who could blame a man for that?
No, I tell you, it's not enough. They're very hard to
What
get.
I've given you is a fair price.
What a stroke of luck. To be sure, that was very neatly done.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. And thank you too, young man. Thank you.
What do you do with them? Eat them?
Eat the genus buffo? You must be strangers here. Experiments, my good fellow. Experiments.
Madonna mia, you mean you teach them tricks?
I'm quite sure such experiments would not please the Holy Office.
Exactly. My good sir, I can see you are a man of experience in such matters.
Experience, no. Curiosity, yes. I'm aware of the toad's place in the science of witchcraft.
The market has ears. I am the Marqués de Villena, at your service. Pray tell me, who are you?
Domenicos Teotokopoulos.
We're from Italy, my lord. My master has been commissioned by Don Diego di Castillo.
Ah, so you're a painter, eh?
In Rome, they call him El Greco.
So Don Diego would have you paint us a few more Madonnas and saints and shining angels, all poised in everlasting glory, eh?
I'm first instructed to paint the Assumption of the Virgin.
Maestro, I do not doubt your words, but if you are an artist of such consequence, why choose to sleep in our marketplace?
There was a little misunderstanding, sir. My master took
I
offense
quite
and,
understand. And perhaps, just for the moment, your purse is a little light, eh?
Shall we say we're suffering from a temporary embarrassment?
Enough. Don't tell me more. Maestro, I am unquestionably in your debt, and my duty is very clear. Come with me. Come, come. Come this way, it's not very far. I told you it's just along here. You'll like it, I'm sure. There, that's my door. My magnificent palace. Leave the horses there. You come with me. Maria? Maria?
what a perfect studio this room would make.
That is precisely the idea I had in mind. Maria, pack my clothes. I'm leaving for the country.
Perfect. Just perfect.
140-odd years ago, the works of my great-great-grandfather, Enrique de Villena, sat on these shelves, but the church came and burnt them all after he died.
You mean he dabbled in sorcery?
I mean he had an inquiring mind, a Villena characteristic, with which, praise be, I too am graced. But of course, it is much safer to exercise it in the country.
Safer?
The Holy Office is very inquisitive. They hunt for heresies as industriously as birds look for worms.
I don't think they'll find cause to ever cross my path.
We have a useful saying here. Keep out of the clutches of the claw.
The claw?
Cardinal Don Fernando Nino de Guevara, the Inquisitor General.
I'll be working for the church, not against it.
Very wise.
One of the first things we see is death. I don't like it, Maestro. Dios mío, I don't like it.
Men die everywhere, my friend.
Maybe, but these people make too big a habit of it.
Don Diego de Castilla.
Yes?
Don Diego, I am Domenicos Teotokopoulos,
I beg your pardon?
the painter from Rome, sir. Your brother, Luis de Castilla, was kind enough to arrange the commission on your behalf.
Oh, yes. My good fellow, this is hardly the time or place.
I'm just arrived, sir, at your invitation, and it is customary to pay one's respects.
If you are in urgent need of money for a night's rest...
Money is not the question, sir. I'm eager to discuss your requirements.
If you can contain your impatience, perhaps you would do me the courtesy of dining tomorrow evening at my house.
On the contrary. Don Diego, gentlemen, permit me to invite you to my house.
Pray, what house can that be?
My servant will light your way at 8 o'clock. Good night, Don Diego, gentlemen.
Maestro, you provided splendidly.
Well, as my credit improves in your city, so will my table.
You remain with us a very long time.
Gentlemen, a toast to that. Excuse us, gentlemen, but the maestro and I have business to discuss.
Ah, pardon me.
Maestro, permit an old man to give you a little sound advice. In Spain, in Toledo in particular, we are set in our ways and fixed in our tastes. The theologians in authority are orthodox-minded. If you wish to convert us to the emotional and mystic, do not be hasty.
Be assured, the retablos will be Veneto Roman paintings, homage to my master Titian. But at the same time, they'll be my farewell to Italy.
You will never go back?
My only desire is to live and work in Madrid just as soon as possible. You see, these are studies for my gift to your king.
Royal patronage, I understand. So your eye is set on the Escorial. You will find King Philip a difficult master to please.
I'm advised he has a liking for the supernatural and fantastic. Any man who commissions the work of Hieronymus Bosch...
You are very sure of yourself, Domenicos Theotokopoulos.
I'm sure only of my art.
And impulsive, too. This place, our entertainment this evening, has certainly put you in debt. Your gestures are charming, but too expensive.
Our contract is my security.
And mine, too. This morning I had 3 new clauses added. The 6 paintings for the retablo mayor and the 2 for the side altars must follow the preliminary sketches you delivered to my brother. And a further stipulation. You will paint the canvases with your own hands, without assistance, and not undertake other work until they are completed. And lastly, you will not remove your canvases from this city to finish them elsewhere.
But that's imprisonment.
Is it? Why?
To be trapped here in Toledo?
Is the prospect so disagreeable?
Frankly, yes.
Tonight, you are invited to our auto sacramental. The very spirit of Toledo governs our morality plays. I want to see your enjoyment of it. You see, my friend, we already like you. In turn, you must learn to like us and our city.
Ya me engaño la razón, que se asome al torreón y déjame hacer a mí, pues armada traigo aquí la escopeta, su gestión, que trae de Dios el olvido y el papel de amor rompido, trae el desprecio del cielo.
¡Ah! ¡Razón!
¿Ya más engaño?
Al homenaje te asomas.
¿Querrás hacerme algún daño? Caerá la simple paloma aunque pese al desengaño.
A fe que eres muy discreta.
Por soberbia quieres cogerme.
Requiero que esa escopeta. ¿Qué hace el alma?
Holgarse en verme.
¿Y el deleite?
Le inquieta.
¡Estás con ella abrazado!
No, ni el cielo lo permita.
¡Un niño te da cuidado!
¡Ay, que dentro suena, grita! Que sirve al necio de velo y encubre lo que ha perdido. Triste, burlada he quedado, el deleite le enamora.
Buena ocasión es ahora, dispara, culpa, dispara. ¡Sápara, patán! ¡Tan, tan! ¡Guerra! ¡Guerra, guerra! ¡Guerra al cielo y a la tierra!
¡De mañana están borrachos los bellacos!
El baile, el bote, el billete, andragada y donaire, la risa y desenvoltura.
¡Ven, ventura, ventura! ¡Abre la boca y paparás aire! ¡Oh, qué bien los dos hacéis!
Toma mi cetro y corona.
Esto sí que es vida bona. ¡Al pedir!
The first part is over, I'm afraid.
My dear Dean, it does me good to see you here. But beware of the night air, my friend.
Permit me to present Maestro Domenico Theotokopoulos, our painter from Rome.
Rome, you say? They tell me Italy's full of Greeks these days. Yes. Well, young man, you better paint me a picture.
Whilst I'm in Toledo, my contract obligates me to serve the dean alone.
You have him in chains already. That's the way to get your work done. A pity, though. A great pity. My daughter will soon be married and stolen from my sight. A portrait of her would have been a great comfort to me.
I'm sorry I cannot oblige you.
Don Miguel, how can I refuse such a loving father?
A most considerate gesture. Most considerate indeed. Hieronyma? Hieronyma?
Yes, Father.
Come with me.
Doña Hieronyma, your servant.
My dear, we have here Domenicos Theotokopoulos. Greek names are devilish tongue twisters.
Theotokopoulos.
Exactly. The maestro will be painting your portrait for me.
When?
My dear girl, arrange it to suit yourself. Come.
I'm at your disposition, my lady.
Father, El Greco may present himself in my garden tomorrow morning at 10. But do stress he be punctual. But as always, my heart is with you in Toledo. Oh, what are you doing today, my Geronimo? Oh. I am so very impatient for the sight of you that I can neither eat nor sleep. Even my fencing master tells me I have no more use.
Poor Luis. He's quite fading away.
I've always wanted my husband to be just that way. Devoted and wonderfully slim. Maestro, 1,000 pardons.
Hope the maestro doesn't mind waiting.
And don't you think he would? Please.
Your head round more to me.
Maestro, I get very tired of looking at you.
Then merely pretend I don't exist. That shouldn't be difficult for you.
Are you always disagreeable with your sitters?
Whenever they deserve it.
And did your Roman ladies of quality ever deserve it?
Rome is a sophisticated capital, my lady. Our problem here is a provincial one.
Maestro, you forget that until recently, Toledo was the capital of Spain.
Precisely 17 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And I was 3.
Now I understand what drove your poor king to Madrid.
Stop that at once. Come back into the house. Oh.
Doña Jeronima, if you want me to paint your portrait tomorrow, you will have to pose alone.
Alone?
But, my lady, you know very well your father gave clear instructions.
Enough, Saida. I don't see the point of that.
You see, my lady, this model had manners enough to stand still.
Allow me to introduce myself. Brother Felix de Paravicino. Your designs are beautiful. Yes, as I studied them last night, I realized how much I shall enjoy watching you putting them on canvas.
Please come here whenever you wish.
That will be my duty, Maestro. I have been instructed by our dearly beloved Cardinal Nino de Guevara to act as your advisor.
Guevara? Ah, yes. The Inquisitor General.
You know him?
I know his reputation. As one of his theologians, I suppose you reflect his pious enthusiasms.
Please don't take offense. In all humility, my task is merely to guide you where I can. The church has a point of view, established concepts, rules, if you will. Our duty is to recognize them and obey them.
Brother Felix, I do not readily accept advice from anybody. I must be free to paint as I wish.
Freedom often weakens inspiration. Restriction only stimulates it.
Let me make this quite clear. I did not come to Toledo to join a school of mannerists.
Maestro, you twist my words. There are infinite variations within the rules. There is piety and sweetness in obedience.
Are you suggesting that the church means to control my inspiration? The very colors of my palette? Must I apply to you before I set this green wash on the mantle of the Madonna?
Blue azure would be more appropriate.
Blue, why?
A reflection of our Toledan sky.
Brother Felix, as you are a priest, I'm prepared to recognize your sincerity.
But be patient with me, Maestro. And I am sure we will learn to understand one another.
Pleased to welcome you.
Your Excellency is most kind.
Eminence, gentlemen, may I present to you the painting of the burial of Count Orgaf by Domenicos Theotokopoulos. In such a manner you interrupt your work on the San Domingo retablo.
Your Eminence, the story of the Count of Orgaz being lifted into his sepulchre by two saints moved me so much that I could not resist the impulse to paint it at once.
Yes, you are an impulsive man. Today you provided us with a good example of your lack of restraint. You must learn to contain such weaknesses and follow wise counsel. I trust you sought Father Felix de Paravicino's helpful advice concerning the official attitude to such a concept as this.
I experienced no need for such guidance. My inspiration
A painter of religious pictures always requires guidance from the church. Inaccuracies of color and sacrilegious exaggerations are easily perpetrated.
I appreciate that, Your Eminence.
Moreover, such errors are punishable. In my capacity of Grand Inquisitor, I must ruthlessly exterminate all heresies, be they nurtured in the mind or on canvas. Domenicos Theotokopoulos, we are well pleased. You honor your calling.
Thank you, Your Eminence.
In fact, it is my wish that you again interrupt your work for San Domingo and accept a commission for the vestry of the cathedral sacristy.
I'm at your command, Eminence.
I require you to paint our Lord Jesus on Calvary, the moment before he was disrobed.
An expolio.
An expolio, Maestro. But I command you this time not to deny yourself the guidance of Father Felix. The composition will be narrow and vertical. Centrally, a majestic Christ surrounded by, yet isolated from, the surging mob. Nothing grotesque or cruel. I have a natural abhorrence of cruelty in any shape or form.
Maestro, I have a message for my lady, Doña Jerónima de las Cuevas. My mistress wishes to inform you that she is free to sit for you this afternoon.
My time is occupied.
Maestro, you can't offend the Las Cuevas family. A few hours' work on the portrait of their daughter might cure your nervousness.
Brother Felix, for once I appreciate your advice.
Coming, Francesco?
Yes, Maestro.
My lady, you're sitting for a portrait, not an icon.
I happen to have pins and needles. In Crete, didn't they teach you respect?
Respect? It depends for what.
Well, in Toledo, we like to be civilized.
Our Greek civilization is nearly 4,000 years old.
I can't think why you ever left.
I was an underdog. In Crete, I was born under Latin oppression. I had to go seek my fortune in the land of my oppressors, in Venice, where I found the studio of old Titian, where he gave me the key to this.
Then why did you go to Rome?
To search, to find my own brand of truth. But in Rome, I became a captive again. You see, I was expected to conform to a patron who was benevolent if one followed the rules. I had to speak my mind. I did.
And now you are here looking for more impartial patronage.
Your Escorial will need many fine paintings.
Then you must despise yourself for being made to waste time on this little portrait.
No. No painter despises himself for finding something lovely. I'm fortunate. Your face already lives here on my canvas. A young Spanish lady whose large eyes could be so tender.
My pins and needles have gone.
Go on. How soon the light leaves us. These narrow streets seem to hide from the sun.
You still feel a stranger here.
Candy is all sunlight and color. I've always lived near the sea, in Crete and Venice. Even in Rome, I knew Ostia was just across the fields. Because it's landlocked, Toledo's introvert. So are the lives inside it.
How little you understand us.
I understand my feelings. There's something oppressive here. Your buildings are like prisons. You decorate them inside to hide the bars.
First, this is a Spanish city.
And you can never forget it. It explains your intense preoccupation with religion and death and social ostentation.
Aristocrats cannot help being aristocrats.
Your aristocrats surround themselves with snobbish etiquette, silly regulations, absurd rules, and gradually suffocate. Just as you're suffocating, Doña Jeronimo.
You are quite wrong.
In your scheme of things, each man must know his place and never trespass.
You are trespassing now.
No. You're the one who's trespassing into my world. When we first met, I was merely an artisan for hire. When I rebelled, you were intrigued. And now look, you're just a human being, talking to another human being in the half-light.
Maestro Greco, you flatter yourself.
I've only to put my name at the bottom of that canvas and your portrait is done. When you look at it, you'll see the good I see in you reflected there. Not Doña Jerónima de las Cuevas, but Jerónima. Now you know me. You won't say El Griego made that of me. You'll say Domenicos Theotokopoulos looked at me and made me understand myself. Won't you sit down? Felix, I'm so conscious of your watching me. Something's offending you. And how am I breaking the rules this time?
Well, those yellows and blues, and the weak reds, they all seem strangely cool to me.
Cool? Why, certainly. After all, I didn't travel over 1,000 miles just to paint you another warm Italian Assumption. I'm in Toledo now.
Inspiration from a city you detest.
Detest? Did I say that?
Mm-hmm. You've certainly made it clear you've no love for the place.
Felix, I take a long while to fall in love with anything.
But you do.
Salve.
My friend, you work too hard.
Corpus Christi will soon be with us, and this must be ready. Don Diego has already advised the king.
Does royal patronage really mean so much to you?
Felix, an Escorial painter is an established person, someone of consequence. There can be no argument about that.
You surprise me. Most painters merely wish to paint, marry their model, breed children, and go on painting.
That's exactly my problem.
Then we must find you a beautiful wife.
I think I already have.
You mean you haven't asked her yet?
There's always that possibility.
And if she refuses you?
I don't believe she will.
Supposing her parents refuse you? Families here are very...
If the king accepts this painting, that means he accepts me too. Surely her family must do the same.
Domenico, that doesn't follow. The king commissions and accepts the creations of his pastry cook. But that doesn't entitle the pastry cook to a place in society. He's content to marry the butcher's daughter.
But Felix, I'm not a pastry cook. And she's certainly not a butcher's daughter.
Then if matters are as I suspect, you will harm a young lady and ruin your own future.
Felix, as a priest, how can you make such an intolerably snobbish statement?
As your friend, I have no other alternative. As a priest, I know my place. As a Toledan, I know yours. You may wish for it, even fight for it, but you still won't succeed in mixing oil with water. Believe me, Domenico.
But that's ridiculous. I'm an educated man. I speak 5 languages. I've traveled. Felix, I'm not a pastry cook.
I know.
I need her, Felix. If I love this girl, truly, honorably, and if she loves me, no family could refuse us.
They can and will, quite bluntly. In Toledo, a gentleman can become an acceptable artist, but it doesn't follow that an artist can become an acceptable gentleman. Don't tempt fate, Domenico.
But I must.
Then I will pray for you, my friend.
Geronimo! Geronima.
Luis?
Dearest Geronima.
Nobody told me you were coming.
I've just arrived from Madrid. I must prepare the King's visit for the Corpus Christi. Geronima, you are always so beautiful. And now I'm here. We have so much to arrange. Did you make any lists for the wedding invitations?
Luis, there is still plenty of time.
2 months is not plenty of time. I see you have got a gift already. I didn't know you were having a portrait done.
Father wanted it.
Beautiful. Truly beautiful.
Thank you. Did you tell Pepe to get your room ready?
Incredible. Whoever painted that looked right into your heart. Pepe? No, darling.
Then I had better.
Geronima. Dominicos Theotokopoulos.
Hello, Domenico. My dear friend.
Pompeo mio. When I passed through Madrid, I inquired for you, but...
Working, always work. Since working at the Escorial, one never has a moment to oneself. I've just completed a bust of His Majesty.
I'm happy for your success, Pompeo. Once away from Rome, I knew that nothing could stop you.
Domenico, I must be the one to congratulate you. Well, don't let's criticize the Eternal City. Pignarelli's over there.
Pignarelli? What's he doing here?
Clinging to His Majesty like the leech he is.
Not as a painter.
Oh, God forbid.
Our genius, El Greco. And how fares our refugee from the wrath of the Farnese? In Rome, we are still apologizing for your ruderies concerning Buonarrote's talent.
I do not regret my criticisms.
His Majesty holds Michelangelo in the highest esteem. Pray do not speak ill of him in the King's presence.
I do not intend to. And if you choose to curb your tongue, the King need never learn of the opinion I hold.
How very trusting. Naturally, my dear Maestro, we will permit your talent to speak for itself.
Sire, this is Maestro Domenicos Theotokopoulos.
We view with pleasure the gift you made to us, and we will be pleased to accept it.
Thank you, sire.
We have had favorable report of the progress you have made at the Church of San Domingo, and we learn with pleasure that you're executing an expolium for the sacristy. We are impressed with your devout application and creative talent. Maestro Leone, you, I gather, are in agreement with our sentiments.
Absolutely, sire. I believe in Maestro Greco's art more than my own.
You, Conte, what is your opinion?
Both in form and the color, an exquisite concept. Of course, the symbolic, mystic aspects require consideration.
We have considered them and like them. Maestro, we accordingly desire to favor you by commissioning you to portray the martyrdom of the much devoted San Mauricio and his followers of the Theban Legion. Your work, if found acceptable, will grace our monastery of the Escorial.
You honor me, sire.
Your Majesty, you honor my house with your presence.
Thank you.
This way, sir.
Domenico, would you care to take a little air with me, my friend? Domenico, today I'm both happy and sad for you.
Perhaps you prayed for me a little too much.
I must open my heart to you. Domenico, they are two young people. They are engaged to be married. Every single person here is overjoyed at the match. Please, please don't harm them.
Felix, today I was favored by the most powerful king in the world. My whole life has been a striving for this moment. Yet, strangely enough, it will mean nothing to me unless I can speak to her. She may refuse me, but it must come from her lips. If I'm to be hurt, I must be hurt now.
In God's name, I beseech you, be gentle with her.
I promise. Hieronima,
Domenico.
will you be missed?
No, not for a moment. I was so proud of you this morning. Nothing can stop you now, nothing. You will go to Madrid and...
Not without you. Tell me you love me.
I love you.
Hieronima.
No. We must be logical people. You must become known throughout all Spain. I must marry Luis and live in Sigüenza.
Come, I'll show you something.
It's too late now for anything except my duty. My duty to Luis, my family, my confessor. To Toledo, as you would say. I can hurt you because I love you, but I can't hurt them.
But Hieronima, it's impossible to be so practical about loving. Nothing matters.
It does. It matters for you, Domenico. Today you are in favor. Tomorrow you would be disgraced.
For loving you, for wanting to marry you.
For even contemplating such a possibility. Please, will you kiss me now? Please. Please. Forget me. Forget me.
Are you satisfied, senor? Custom forbids a gentleman to duel with other than his kind. Senor Ribera is my fencing master.
Shall we take our positions? On guard.
Not that way. Like this. See? Stand.
Ha!
Señor, touché.
Finish him off.
Signorelli was right about you. Let's go.
Ah, my dear Domenico. Oh. I can see our convalescent is fast improving. No, Maria, thank you. A month is a long while to remain inactive, young man. A long while. But I know who put you here. I know. And mark my words, someday, somehow, I'll see that he's punished.
Revenge can't ever get me back what I've lost. All I want is to paint.
Can you model a portrait in wax? A valuable talent, my friend. I could let you have some toad potion. Dip long needles into the toad potion. Drive them into the image of your enemy, not forgetting to repeat the curse of the horned god.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't believe in all that.
All the more reason why you must visit me in the country when you are well enough. A little demonstration?
Thank you for the visit. Next time you come, I hope you'll find me painting.
Goodbye, my friend.
Maestro, the king's agents are here.
Gentlemen, if you're here for the San Mauricio canvas, it's ready.
Maestro, our porters are on their way.
I at least hoped Conte Pignarelli would be honoring me with a visit. What have you done with him?
He preferred to wait in the patio.
Did he now? Francesco, bring the gentleman here. Ah, my dear Pignarelli. Would Would you avoid me at this critical moment? I have a favor to ask of you.
Really?
Forgive me, this painting is finished, but I just noticed an imperfection in one of the faces. Would you mind sitting over here?
You would have me pose for you?
If you would do me that honor. It will only take a moment. Francesco, some wine for the gentleman. And Tristan, open the window. I need plenty of light in order to capture a certain expression.
Salute.
Salute. Oh, Signor Conte, your head a little further to the left. Perfect. Just perfect.
Uh-huh. And so, a Pinarelli is captured for posterity.
Grazie mille, Signor Conte.
Maestro, I must confess I fail to recognize the Conte's likeness anywhere here.
Do you? And I thought I'd captured such an excellent likeness. But surely you agree. Take care. Not too close. It may bite you.
Hieronyma, my dear, you really shouldn't have waited up for me.
Father, I wasn't tired.
Suppers with that conceited fop Pinarelli are always interminable. What a curious fellow he is.
Who was there?
Luis was there, and strangely enough, enjoying himself hugely. The only thing they appear to share in common is their poor opinion of that painter. Did you know that Maestro Greco has been confined to his bed this past month?
Ill?
Some sort of accident. Couldn't make head nor tail of it, but they say he's recovering. For Pinarelli, the poor wretch would have been better off dead.
Pinarelli's a hateful man.
Granted, my dear. By no means a pleasant chap, but he keeps his ears and eyes open. He happens to know that Maestro Greco worships the devil.
He has a venomous tongue.
Yet I believe him. He actually found evidence hidden in the Greek studio.
I don't believe it.
You'll believe it, all right, when the Holy Office arrests him.
Arrest him? When?
The Holy Office chooses its own time to strike.
Hieronima, what are you doing?
Why did you do this?
That's black magic.
Did you do it?
Of course not.
Then Pignarelli did it.
Pignarelli?
He means to tell the Holy Office.
But that's ridiculous.
Witchcraft can never be called ridiculous. You've been hurt.
Hieronima.
If by Trinity Sunday you have not confessed that such indeed was the manner of your birth, then you will attend the act of faith, and there have your flesh consumed by fire. Dominus vobiscum.
Eminence, your instructions have been carried out.
Good. Maestro Greco's paintings must be closely examined for any signs of heretical influences.
Who is it? Who's there? The Holy Office! Open the door!
What's your business at this time of night?
Dominicos Theotokopoulos, by order of the Holy Office, you are under arrest.
On what charge?
You'll find out in time. Search the house! Come.
Thank you.
Dominicos Theotokopoulos, the fact that you are Greek does not excuse ignorance of the law. Any person countenancing or practicing witchcraft, necromancy, or sorcery is a self-confessed heretic. Any man possessing or harboring images, ointments, potions, or powders used in the diabolic craft of black magic is suspect of heresy. Any man discovering, finding, learning by hearsay, or knowing of the existence of such images, instruments, trappings, or paraphernalia of devil worship is duty-bound to make report to the Holy Office.
Who accuses me of possessing such paraphernalia?
The accusation specifies image-making in wax and the stabbing of such images with nails and pins.
But who accuses me?
The informer's name, rank, or station is denied the accused, nor may you confront him.
Then I demand you produce evidence to substantiate this charge.
The Holy Office is not required to exhibit proof or reveal testimony.
I submit you're not in possession of such evidence because it does not exist. And further, I submit that the informer, also a foreigner, has maliciously invented this tale in order to willfully discomfort me.
Have you ever read any treatise concerned with black magic, sorcery, or the casting of spells?
Certainly. but not in favor of them. In Venice and in Rome, many books, tracts, and handbills are in circulation condemning such rites.
Have you at any time read a book in favor of witchcraft or the worship of Satan?
I'm an educated man. My intelligence rejects such writings.
Yes or no?
No.
Have you at any time fashioned an image in wax and stabbed that likeness with nails or such like?
No.
Would you solemnly swear to that?
Yes?
In the name of our Holy Roman Catholic Church and on the Bible?
Yes.
But would such an oath be sworn in all sincerity?
Do you doubt my fear of God?
We are gathered here to doubt your love of him. Any man's oath may be counterfeit.
In that case, his very life would be a deception and fraud.
Is yours, Maestro Theotokopoulos?
Eminence, my paintings are visual interpretations of my devotion to God. If no man is permitted to speak in my favor, then I offer my work in his place. Examine the paintings I have recently passed into the keeping of the church. Find in them any deceit, religious impropriety, or heresy, and I will bow to the verdict of this tribunal. Such can be my only defense.
We will give consideration to your words, Dominicos Theotokopoulos. Meanwhile, you will be lodged here with us until our verdict is agreed upon.
Take him from us.
Father, help him. I beg of you, help him. Intervene with the Holy Office.
In the face of damning evidence? Impossible.
The evidence can't exist.
My daughter, you don't know what you're talking about. He's arrested and already charged.
Then they will free him. They must free him.
Hieronima, when the Holy Office accuses a man of heresy, they must have clear evidence.
They do not. I swear they do not.
Now you are ridiculous. I will not tolerate this arrogant display any longer.
Arrogant. Yes, I am arrogant. I love him.
Hieronima.
I love him. Do you hear me? I love him, love him.
Young lady, you are to marry Luis. If he should hear of this...
Then tell him. Tell him. Tell him I went to the Vienna Palace in the middle of the night. Tell him I was kissed and loved and embraced, as Luis will never know love from me. Tell him.
You have given yourself to that man.
Yes, willingly. I love him and I will marry him.
Never.
Domenico, they will only permit me a few minutes with you. I have made representations to everybody, done everything within my power.
Did you go to Madrid? Why not? The king is the only man with power enough to help me.
Your San Mauricio was refused.
Refused? Why?
A king doesn't have to give reasons. Domenico, you can't look to the Escorial for help.
I can't believe it. Then what can I do?
Bow to authority. Plead humbly for mercy.
Plead for mercy? When my crime is innocence? Felix! That kind of humility does not honor Christianity, it insults it. Would you have me do that? Would you?
Hurry, Maria.
Cowards!
I didn't come to your city to burn at the stake.
There can be no escaping the Holy Office.
My master is taken. We have the right to protect ourselves.
Cowards! Cowards, both of you.
The bolts of the Inquisition only move one way, to close and never to open.
Yet you desert him. Your duty is to stay here and help him.
How? Are you doing anything to help him, milady?
Don't deceive yourself, my lady. No one can help him now. Maria and I have decided to get out of this city now before it's too late. I pray God you've got the strength to make your own decision. Farewell.
Geronimo, my child, why have you waited till now?
Mother, forgive me. I will never again be late for God.
The Mother Superior explained your need of me.
Yes, Father. Because only to you can I truly unburden my heart. My love for Domenico was my life. I gave him my heart and body so willingly, eagerly. He was mine, Father, because there could be no other way.
I could not be blind to your love for one another. I knew, understood, and dreaded the step you were taking. I prayed for both of you.
I cannot believe Domenico could ever have offended the church or God. He came here as a stranger with strange beliefs. But there was no evil in him. Since I was little, they taught me to look at life their way. Domenico taught me another way, to look at the same things. And they were more beautiful. Was it wrong to love such a man? Can God be offended with the joy I know now? Now that his child moves in me.
Domenico showed me another way, too. Outside the rules as I know them to be. In a strange way, his friendship for me also made me stray. Through his eyes, I, too, gained a fresh view of eternal truths. I, too, trespassed beyond the limitations set upon me by the church.
Then, if you understand, Father, please, help me to be truly penitent, if such be the will of God.
We will pray together. And as penitents, we will beseech his mercy, my child, rededicating our trust in his guidance alone. Lord Jesus, look down upon us, your children.
Is the portrait a fair likeness of me?
Eminence, it is a prodigious caricature.
Because my hand is claw-like. Maestro, you observed my claw, and so you painted it. Your portrait of me is an honest one, because it tells the truth. Draw that curtain. But does that represent the truth? Does it? Domenico Theotokopoulos, you plead that your work faithfully reflects your devotion to the Holy Roman Catholic faith. And yet your expolio presents two blatant improprieties. Several heads and helmets are above and higher than the head of Christ. The three Marys mourning in the left foreground, according to the Gospels, should not be present.
Eminence, this canvas is required for the vestry of a sacristy, the place where a priest assumes the robe symbolic of Christ on earth. The robe, therefore, is and must be the vital feature. In that painting, Christ's red garment dominates. His body, full length, you will notice, is the tallest, largest figure. But because the mob must crowd about him, yet not hide him from view, there can be little or no foreshortening. If any man came forward and stood level with Christ on the same ground, he would be shorter in stature. But I am sure your eminence does not require instruction in the simple rules governing perspective.
Would you change the composition?
No.
Would you paint out the three women in the foreground?
No. Your eminence, religious art is visionary. It is earthly man's interpretation of the mystery of God's majesty. My duty is not to depict reality, but the meaning behind reality. My picture is not the remembered scene of an eyewitness, but rather the impact of an imagined scene upon my soul. I paint pictures to inspire worship. If there's nothing to pray to, then a religious painting has no merit. I have prayed to that canvas. Now I hope others will have that opportunity.
The tribunal will consider your words.
Submission is against my nature. I reserve my humility for God, not as inquisitors.
But the cardinal, like any man of God, is not without compassion.
Compassion? Why should any man seek compassion when he's winning his arguments?
Your explanations today might have justified your actions. But when the final verdict is in the balance...
Felix, you're a strange man of God. You strive so bitterly to change things in me that cannot be changed. Things that you, Spain, Toledo, and the Holy Faith have inspired and formed. Hieronyma understands this.
Domenico, I didn't want to tell you. Hieronyma's ill.
Ill? How ill?
Seriously ill. The Mother Superior told me so.
Which Mother Superior?
At the convent of the Visitation, where Hieronyma's doing her penance.
Penance? You mean they've shut her away in some...
It was her own decision.
Well, I must go to her. I must help her.
My friend, my task has always been to guide you, as best I can. Listen this last time. Place yourself in God's hands and pray for understanding and forgiveness. Calmly suffer the judgment of the Holy Office, as our Lord Jesus once suffered at other hands. And like him, accept your fate with an open and contrite heart.
I can offer you no further defense of my paintings. Nor can I refute, with more argument, the charge of necromancy. I accept your conclusions and your verdict.
Domenicus Theotokopoulos, in respect of the charge that you did fashion waxen images with necromantic intent, the tribunal of the Holy Office returns a verdict of not guilty. As Grand Inquisitor, I acquit you of heresy and heretical improprieties. To speak of this experience, or to divulge details of your trial, is punishable by death. Maestro, your task is not to concern yourself with intellectual exploration into the Church's domain, but to paint. Paint well, Maestro Greco, and may God bless your endeavors.
You have no right to invade the privacy of this place.
I demand to be allowed to speak to her.
That is not possible. My son, Jerónimo de las Cuevas, is dead.
During the years that followed, El Greco turned away from the glitter of the world he'd known and sought inspiration in strange places. From his suffering, the painter began to fashion his greatest works, which were to make his name immortal.
3 persons.
I thought to help my old friend recover from the tragedy of Jerónimo's death by going to the convent in order to bring about the first meeting between El Greco and his son. Courage, Jorge Manuel. There he is.
Is it really my father?
Yes, but he doesn't know it yet.
Why don't you tell him?
He lives now with the ghosts of pain and suffering. But one day, with your help, they will haunt him no longer. In his loneliness, he'll turn to you and discover the meaning of life again. Now, go to him, Jorge Manuel. Go to him.